Hello and welcome to Shouting Over the Static. I'm your host Dylan and I'm joined by Mark.
Hello.
And Kyaw this week. 2 weeks in a row. Incredible. Hello, Kyaw.
Hello.
Because I'm finally starting to learn who this Kyaw person is.
Just getting to know him. It's truly remarkable. Sadly, we don't have Jack this week. He is doing something with an SSD and his computer. Take from that what you will.
It's just like balancing an SSD on top of it.
Yeah. Just random things. Not anything computer related. Just like aesthetically pleasing photographs. Stuff like
He's
that.
taken the SSD in the computer to Alton Towers.
Imagine that photo then. Just Jack, a computer, and then an empty seat. But if you look just closely enough, you can see the top of an SSD.
Going down the log ride. Great.
That'll be next week's podcast. A retelling of Jack's adventures with his computer and the SSD.
I love it. That's great. That is hot hashtag content.
A truly wonderful miniseries. There's, unlike last week, a few things have happened. It's not a completely barren video game wasteland.
Are you saying that this week we're not going to spend half an hour talking about an 8-year-old anime puzzle game?
Potentially, although that did come out this week, so...
It did. It's very true.
Maybe we should. No. Yeah, hopefully we've got... And I feel like it's stuff we are more qualified to talk about, because a lot of the time we talk about games we've never played. But this week, I think if we'll start with the shorter one, and then you seem to suggest our second story has much to talk about, so we'll leave that till after so we can just, ramble forever.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous that you seem to think, considering what the second story is about, you seem to think that I have some sort of expertise on the matter, and that's a little bit concerning, but it's fine.
No. I mean, the game in particular, we've all played, at least.
Yes.
Well, I say the game. The big game from this company.
The games.
I'm leaving a mystery so people will listen
Stop
at the
teasing
end.
me, Dylan. What's
Hey.
the news?
Nah, nobody's gonna turn this off now. They need to know. But first off, let's start with, I think the big news. I don't know if it was, for me it was shocking. I don't know how shocking it was for everyone else. Bungie left Activision and took Destiny 2 with them, or Destiny as a whole, I guess, the IP of Destiny. Which
Hugely surprising for me, at least.
Yeah, same
I
for
heard
me.
that things have been bad between those two for, well, literally years. Like since the beginning, I think they've had a pretty rocky relationship. But I didn't expect them to. I basically expected that the moment their 10-year deal was up, them just to be like, right, we're done. Let's never talk again, and just kind of disappear. I didn't expect this at all. I found this pretty surprising, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I mean, there was obviously the stuff sort of right from the get-go. You heard stories of how Activision really fucked with the story of Destiny and what Destiny actually was as, a game. I think Activision were the ones that seemingly pushed for this game as a service idea and this sort of always online kind of feel, right? At least that's what I've gathered.
Yeah, I think it's the lines in those early days between what was an Activision decision and what was a Bungie decision are pretty blurry, I think. It can be very easy to want to blame everything on Activision. I think there are also some problems with sort of Bungie and the way that they made Destiny, but I definitely think if nothing else, Activision, because it's what they do, pushed for that game to be annualized.
Yeah.
They pushed very, very hard for them. You need a big content drop with associated revenue on a year's basis, because it's what they do with all their games. Don't just wait, mate. 2020 Sekiro 2 Shadows Die Thrice. It's happening. It's how Activision do.
It's a good name, though.
It is a good name. It's a really good name. Sorry, that was a complete digression from the point, but yeah.
I mean, I think, as bad as it may seem, and obviously lots of people have issues with the Destiny 2 model, but I think for the kind of game it is, the annual content drop has kind of, I don't know if it has meant this, maybe Destiny would have ended up like this anyway, but it's meant that Destiny, they've been forced to make it better because each one started off kind of bad and got a lot better by the end. And B, it meant that they stuck with it. There's a community of people who play these games and really enjoy them for quite a while. Obviously this happens with lots of other games, but it's kind of become almost like a sort of, it's like an MMORPG light, and I mean that's obviously what it is, but that's kind of how people I think treat it as well, right? The cost of the season passes is basically the same as just subscribing to World of Warcraft. And the way some people play it, you get that same sort of, dedication to the game.
Yeah, pop in, do your dailies, get your clan quests in, get your weeklies. There is, especially with the very, very smart decisions they've made in Forsaken. They've made it a lot more in the MMO space, which is good because it's what that game needs to be to keep people interested. I wonder if they're gonna bring in any new people,
Yeah.
Do you think you guys have played both games from launch, right?
I never really played. Well, I played a bit of Destiny 1 with our former housemate and radio host Tom.
Yeah,
because he had it, but I never played it much. I've played Destiny 2 since launch, though.
Yeah.
So,
I played D2 since launch.
So when you first play the game, is there enough content to go around before the next big content drop happens?
It didn't start that way. The beginning of Destiny 1, there was enough content to keep you happy for the equivalent of a normal FPS shooter campaign, basically maybe a bit longer.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of just, I think it was easier to stay playing it if you had someone to play with, because you could just tit about even if you weren't really doing anything. It was fun to just go and shoot, because like we've said,
you just talk shit, right, and run strikes or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we've said this on the show before. The Destiny engine and the FPS that Destiny is one of the best ones, the best feeling shooters that I've played.
Yeah,
they've got that. It's really crisp and feels incredible to use. So when you've got someone to talk shit with, it's fun to just use it. Kind of playing Just Cause 2 or playing Left 4 Dead 2 with your friends on repeat. So you're not playing it because you still love the story. You're playing it because it's fun to be doing that kind of shit with your friends.
Yeah, I understand.
But from launch, there's nowhere near enough content.
What is interesting actually is sort of Forsaken and the way that they've changed it, added in content. They haven't necessarily added in so much content that you could play forever, but they've changed up the systems and the dailies and a lot of the grind so that it's a bit more like Diablo, it's a bit more like a loot game, and you just keep playing to get more loot and mats and upgrades and all sorts, and they've made it more focused on, instead of it being just run these strikes to shoot dudes and maybe your light level go up a bit, it's you just want to keep getting stuff, which is so it's worth noting, because that's also something they've kind of specifically said as well with going forward. Their next DLC packs is they're not necessarily trying to add in a whole new planet with every DLC now. They're just trying to add in more to that grind loop and make it just kind of bulk out the grind, rather than adding in a sort of, now you have to just go do strikes on a different planet, but it doesn't actually really matter or change anything, which I don't know, I think it's quite cool.
Yeah, I think it's definitely better, because if you change up the way the game plays such that there's more of a grind or more of a, like what you said, you're not just adding one boring planet. You've got maybe an extra hour of content where you play the strikes, then you're done. And it's that was fun, but what else? But if you change that loop or add something to that loop, then you kind of refresh the entire game, which is almost in a way better, right? Because even though you're playing the same thing, there's still a reason to go back to it and do all the stuff again, which I think is...
Yeah, and it's hopefully these are lessons that continue onwards through their independence, right? I guess, like, sort of get back to the crux of this entire news story is that Bungie left Microsoft and they sort of floated around in the ether, and then everyone heard there was this big deal with Activision where they were signing like a 10-year.
Yeah.
Was it like 500 million or something? It was some absolutely preposterous amount of money for them to come and make a shooter for Activision. And then in that time, in the 4.5 years since Destiny has been a thing in our lives, it seems like it's just been a fucking hassle for everyone.
Yeah.
So I'm almost not surprised that Activision are just going, you know what, guys, this is your fucking problem. You guys go deal with this. This is not working out for anybody.
Yeah. Which, I mean, hopefully it ends up being for the best, because I think at this point Destiny has enough of a... I think it has enough clout, and like Bungie has enough clout, that if they do release another game, if they do release another Destiny, in fact, it will hopefully be okay. Like people will see it and want to buy it because they've got the name recognition, they've got the brand recognition already, right?
Yeah,
they don't need
sure.
Activision behind them. But also now they don't have to worry about, because obviously I think the faults with Destiny, like you said at the beginning, it's not just Activision, it's probably both sides making mistakes. But
yeah, like there's Jason Schreier at Kotaku has done many very long and exhaustive articles on Destiny.
Yeah.
And some of those are well worth reading, because it's just sometimes it's little things, like when they were making Destiny 1, it took them like a full day, 24 hours to render out a new version of a map, even if it's like all they've changed is they've moved a crate 3 foot to the left. And it would take them a full day to re-render it out and test it, which meant that their whole like iterative cycle of design was so slow that they couldn't necessarily do the big turnaround on all the planets they wanted to do. And just like little shit like that, where it could have been better. I don't know. It is a weird thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a many faceted problem, but hopefully at least with some more independence, it can be a lot more just like, we've not got this game ready. And I don't know if that will happen, but hopefully if there are any problems like that, they can just be like, it's not ready, we want to make the best thing we can, it's just going to have to wait. We're going to try and improve these things. And I don't know if that is what they'll do, and we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they've sort of streamlined a lot of it now. They've had sort of 2 games worth of experience. I mean, obviously they had more than that, but of this kind of game.
Yeah.
So
I hope is that they can, I hope they can just kind of chill out a little bit and take their time with it and some of the pressures off, because I know like Destiny 2 Forsaken came out and it was like a critical success, like beloved, everyone thinks it's the best Destiny's ever been.
Yeah.
But Activision was then out saying, but it hasn't performed in terms of sales numbers the way they want.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, like, that's Activision saying that. How much of that pressure was then being put onto Bungie? How much was that with then Bungie thinking, oh, we need to change things maybe?
Yeah.
How much of that maybe even affected this decision now, and them just saying, look, we're not interested, cutting ties with Bungie and letting them have Destiny? Because it could be for Activision and the kind of sales they want to make that Destiny isn't the game. What I hope is that with the sales they are getting and the community they have got, it's enough for Bungie, and Bungie can keep that going, I guess. Because if Bungie can keep doing what they're doing and they can keep up this development cycle, and they can like avoid the temptation to do another like Destiny 3 fucking horrible complete rehaul of everything, changing the game from the ground up all over again, then that could be really, really good, because it could just be that the thing that is causing them problems is all this pressure from the top. But you just don't know, do you?
Yeah, there's no way to say. I mean, it's such a sort of internal problem. There's so many things that we just don't know about that are affecting the decisions from Activision and Bungie that it's really hard to tell. But I mean, they sort of said at the beginning of Destiny 2 that their aim with rehauling it was to try and make it more appealing to the sort of casual gamer, right? And I think Yeah, that can also come from anywhere, can't it? That can be from Bungie wanting to make the game more appealing. It can be from Activision wanting to make more sales. So, yeah, we'll just have to see. I think there's one thing that it really excites me with this is that I think Bungie have always had this problem of there's always been a sense of they've had a game they've really wanted to make that's been affected by who they're making it for.
Yes, yeah.
I think that happened with Halo and Microsoft, and I think it's happened with Destiny Activision, and that's not necessarily the fault of the publisher, like you're saying, and it might even be that the publishers that made them make a better game, because like with Halo, yeah, they'd made a few games before, but they were still sort of, that was their big first success, right? So they didn't necessarily know exactly what was needed. So it might be that they could have been shit then, but now with the experience and the ability to make absolutely whatever they want, maybe next time they'll just drop Destiny and they'll fucking smash it with whatever they have.
Yeah, I'm of the impression that publishers always kind of ruin, creative visions, and I think going forward, Bungie could probably make a much better game than they have been. Yeah. Oh, well, not that I've played the games.
I mean, I would be wary of saying that publishers ruin creative visions, because like the big two, EA and Activision, because they have like an annualized nature, they don't necessarily ruin creativity, but they do want things to sell at like a fair clip. But then if you look at what Bethesda as a publisher has been doing for the last few years, look at those Wolfenstein games. Those Wolfenstein games are some of the most out there, risk-taking, creative games of the last few years, and Bethesda's putting those out. Like, look at the risks that I say this. This is also a maddening thing to say because it is mental. But look at the crazy shit that Square Enix is doing. Square Enix feels less calculated. Like Bethesda feels like they think something's good, so they want to publish it. Whereas Square Enix feels like they don't know what the fuck they're doing, so they're just kind of throwing out video games.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
But
they trust the developers, and they give them space, don't they? Like the same with Sony is giving respect to their developers, and it shows a lot.
But I think
if Sony's not necessarily, I can't imagine Sony is saying, no, Naughty Dog, we really need The Last of Us 2 like this year. They're probably just saying, no, just take as much fucking time as you need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think there's an element though of that thing with the whole these big sort of publishers affect creative vision, and I think that's something you see outside of games as well, right? But there's a reason for it, right? People with creative vision aren't necessarily don't necessarily have the sort of plan to go forward with it, and it's good to have a pairing of someone with that mad creative vision and then someone with that more sort of honed business idea, right? And that's they have to work together. You can't have the best of both worlds. Well, sometimes it works out in the way that it's gone well and you've got a ridiculous creative thing that is successful, but I think it's sort of unfair. I think this is what I was trying to say before, maybe not quite well. It's unfair to say that it's necessarily one or the other's fault, because I think they're both, and this is I think what you might be trying to say, Mark, is that each side has an aim, obviously, and they need to work together rather than one of them being particularly bad for the other. Because, I mean, if you look at it from a business side rather than the sort of gaming side, I bet, like, say there was a sort of business fanatic looking at this decision of Bungie to leave, they'd be like, oh, look at this, trying to have a great creative vision, ruining my money flow. Because, you could make sort of a microtransaction-filled mobile game that makes a fucking shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And don't bother with console games at all, because there was someone discussing this when what was that recent mobile game that got announced, the Alien one?
Alien Blackout. Good segue.
Yeah. That's just like Five Nights at Freddy's reskin for the mobile with alien stuff, right? This is kind of what the comments were saying. But then there was people in there just they're not aiming at gamers. This isn't. They're aiming at the mobile market who are who are spending just a fucking ridiculous amount of money on mobile games.
I know, yeah.
And then there were like charts showing that mobile games are making nearly as much kind of FIFA, but obviously cost a ridiculous amount less to make. So business-wise, why bother with Destiny at all? Why bother with any of these games? Just release a shit ton of stuff on the mobile platform and you've got a fuck ton of money. But
yeah, I mean, I guess that's a really good point, Dylan. I think the idea of actually having that balance between one and the other is key. And I guess you've made me think as well. Like, my understanding is those Wolfenstein games are critically beloved. I say my understanding, those Wolfenstein games are critically beloved, but my understanding is that they're not necessarily the biggest sales games.
Yeah.
And it's not like Machine Games. Like, Machine Games are all ex-Starbreeze guys, but they hadn't made anything before those Wolfenstein games. But Bethesda can afford to take those kind of risks, putting out things like Wolfenstein, because they have a pretty much near infinite revenue stream from like the 10,000 versions of Skyrim that you can buy. Right? And the fact that they own Fallout and all this other stuff. So like, even though maybe they're trying their really, really hardest to kill Fallout, but... And then I guess that's probably also why Square Enix comes across as a bit desperate at the moment, because they don't necessarily, like, Final Fantasy doesn't sell the way it used to, so I imagine their coffers, especially with the fact they've taken fucking 10 years to make like the last Final Fantasy and the last Kingdom Hearts game, like, their coffers are probably running pretty dry, and that's probably why they're doing a lot of really mental things and just putting out all sorts of strange games, because they're just trying to make whatever money they can and see if they can make those hits. But yeah, I guess Activision wasn't looking at Destiny 2 as being something that they could, or looking at Destiny as being, oh, this will be critically enjoyed, but it won't sell as much, but that's fine because we've got Call of Duty. They were basically saying Call of Duty has never sold as, like, Call of Duty since Black Ops 2 has been selling less and less each year.
Yeah.
They're going, we need a new shooter that we can annualize, that we can monetize, that we can fill full of loot boxes and whatever the fuck we want, to basically start to augment and then replace the Call of Duty market and give us another 10 years of making the biggest first-person shooters on the planet.
Yeah.
And Destiny was not that for them. And that's probably, in fact, why they got rid of it, because it wasn't what they needed it to be.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, like, the reason that you see other publishers doing these kind of crazy things is because they have that revenue stream, I guess. And, like, that's the thing about Ubisoft that I think Ubisoft needs... Ubisoft are just doing some incredible shit in the games as a service, like, space at the moment, and have been for, like, a few years now. And just, like, they've just low-key been knocking it out the park game after game, because they just make these games and they're rough but have a good concept, and then they just keep supporting them and keep them going for years and years and years. And, like, Rainbow Six Siege makes so much fucking money now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that it's still going. Like, people still see people talking about it on Reddit, like, constantly.
That game came out in 2015.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's got such a lifespan. And it's the same. Yeah. It's the same game. It's not like it's like they've added stuff to it and they've committed to it, but it's not really changed that much. It's still just Rainbow Six Siege, right?
Yeah, but they've just like added so much more extra content to it and supported it and worked on that community that now they've just got like. Now they've basically got like 20,000 players or whatever who will buy every single content pack they put out, and that's all they need to support that game, and they could just keep doing it.
Yeah.
I heard an incredibly convincing argument for Rainbow Six Siege that was, it's just a first-person shooter Dota. Because now there's like 60 different characters or something, and it's all about like team matchup. Yeah, it's all about like team matchup now. Like, you see what the other team have got. It's all about team composition and like countering and all this like crazy shit. Yeah, man, it's mental. They've got so many operators in that game now.
There were like 6 when I played it.
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck? I didn't even I knew it was still going strong, but that's insane.
I might be exaggerating slightly, but it's got a lot of operators.
Yeah, but I mean, even
44.
If it's got...
They've got 44 operators in it.
Holy fucking shit! That is ridiculous.
Yeah, apparently, like, I was hearing this thing. So there are these 2 operators that are siblings, like within the canon, and like one of them is all about setting traps.
Yeah.
Like, they're like a defensive one who sets traps, the other one's like an offensive one. and because they're siblings and they're always in tune, the one who's like an offensive one can always see the traps. Oh no, it's not they can always see it. Because they're siblings and they love each other, the offensive one can never set off the defensive one's traps, even if they're on opposite teams.
That's brilliant.
So it's like if someone picks the defensive one, you can then pick the offensive one and know that you'll never set off his traps, because that's like a weird counterbalance in like the lore. It seems like the fucking craziest game, and it's just Ubisoft just quietly in the background, just raking in money and making games that are awesome.
I think maybe we need to get into Rainbow Six Siege, guys.
Maybe that should be February's
the whole
game.
Concept with the operators.
I'd be down with
they
that.
Have like they have different sets of skills. Is that right?
Yeah, so
They're
it's
all
different
unique.
weapons, different skills, I
Wow.
think. So it's like, this one's like the FBI guy, so he's just got like a shotgun and a pistol and like a basic like passive skill or something. And then you've got ones who are like, this one's got a sledgehammer and like just crazy shit. And apparently, for like the entire life of the game, they've been like, these are walls you can cut through, these are walls you can't cut through. And then recently they brought in an operator who can cut through the walls you can't cut through. But only with like, he can only make he can make like a hole big enough for like one gun barrel.
Okay.
So it's like, his thing is now he can put holes in those walls, but like you can just shoot through it and that's it. And just like, it seems like maybe we should get into Rainbow Six Siege, because Ubisoft are just doing...
It's not too late, right? We can do it.
Well, clearly it's still going strong. I've just had a look at the operators, and so there seems to be that the setup of it is that they've got a bunch of different sort of SWAT/special ops groups from various countries, and then they have an attacker and a defender from each one. So like there's an SAS, a SWAT, Spetsnaz, that kind of thing. And then each has got an attacker or a defender. Some don't. There's one that doesn't have a defender, one that doesn't have an attacker. But
It's the number 5 game on Steam right now in terms of concurrent players.
Wow.
yeah, that I think all of the companies are probably just looking for their Rainbow Six Siege or their Dota, right? I mean, because once you've got that, I mean, I say this, I'll follow it up with the obvious caveat. Once you've got that, you can kind of then just do what you want, right? Like you said with Bethesda, they've got their revenue, so they can do whatever the fuck they want, because they've got enough money, so they can just make fun games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
They can pour money into Prey 2 and fucking Wolfenstein
Exactly.
and Doom. Like, Bethesda are the people who managed to make a new Doom game, and it was good.
yeah, there's Dota as well. Valve can do whatever they want. They're not, but they could, right? They've sort of gone the other way of they've got that revenue stream. They've got Steam giving them shit tons of money.
Just printing money, yeah.
So it's
And
like,
now they're just making armchairs out of money, I think.
why
That must
bother
be what they're
making
doing, right?
games when we can just make more money? Why risk it?
Huh.
Yeah, Sony became the number 1 platform this generation and have made fucking bank on the PlayStation, and it's like the fastest selling PlayStation console of all time or something, and so they can use that money. Yeah, they can use that money now to basically, as the market is moving away from the third-party games being the thing, the thing that sells consoles, they're just going, yeah, well, you can play the best console exclusives on our console. Look at all the money we've poured into things like The Last of Us. Look at all the money we've poured into Kojima's fucking lunatic face. Yeah, like it's exactly that, Dylan. They're just, everyone's looking for that revenue stream that means they can then do what they want in the creative space.
Yeah.
And it's when you have things like Activision who don't have that revenue stream. Well, I mean, or at least are trying, their cash cow is dying, effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to bring some of that back, and it means they're doing... So do you think then, in this same vein, because this is a complete change of thought, but do you think this means that Bungie now, with a bit less pressure on them, will, instead of going, pivoting to Destiny 3 in 2021... will try and maybe add more content to Destiny 2 and keep that cycle going a bit longer and take their time with it and try and foster that community and get it bigger and better before starting a third game? Or do you think maybe they'll just cut their losses? I don't know.
They've already planned out, I think, the Destiny 2 cycle, so they've got I think so. They've got currently with the Forsaken season, they've got the Black Forge, which is out at the moment, and people have only there was a big puzzle in it that people have only just solved, and it took Destiny having to release like a clue to be like, this is how you solve it, guys.
Wow.
Because nobody could do it. Turns out it might have been that someone in Bungie accidentally deleted a line of code or like a line of a clue that was like vital.
Oh.
Okay.
So the puzzle was just broken. But so they've got Black Forge at the moment going, and then they're going to the Drifter, like Joker's Gambit, I think. Then something that's currently is currently classified. So Season of the Classified with a samurai robot, and then something called Penumbra. So this is like
is that like the what they think might introduce the Dark Pyramid ships, whatever the fuck they are.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like Season 3. I think some people think it might be just Destiny 3. Like there's still a lot of speculation about that, but I think they're planned out enough that it would be weird if they stuck with Destiny 2, and I think the right move would be just to start fresh rather than try and get people into an old game, because I don't think like there's no point trying to get. I mean, I guess there is, because lots of people got into Destiny at the end when you could buy everything for like 30 quid, right? And it was still good. Like my brother really got into Destiny at the end of its cycle, and I think a lot of people did as well. So maybe they could do that and just be like, here's Destiny and all the stuff for like 30 quid. Come and join us and then spend your money in game. Like maybe that'll be the right move before the next stuff comes out. But I think it seems to me that it would be more sensible to start fresh and try and get everybody on like the Destiny 3 hype, right? Or even just something new.
Yeah. I would.
Well, they've got that other game in development, haven't they? They took a bunch of private venture capital to make a different game, didn't they?
Yeah, I remember there was something about them making a non-Destiny game, but maybe it'll be like a sequel to Marathon or something weird.
Well, I haven't heard anything about this.
So yeah, someone gave them like 100 mil to make some fucking weird game. Yeah, I like some unannounced like 100 million investment from NetEase to make something. What does NetEase do? NetEase is a Chinese internet technology company who they also partners with Blizzard to operate the local versions of Warcraft 3, World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, StarCraft 2, Diablo 3, and Overwatch.
Oh, it's going to be a card game, isn't it? It's going to be a Destiny card game.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I feel like if they
NetEase are the people who made Diablo Immortal, the mobile Diablo game.
It's not a mobile game then. Mobile card game.
To be fair, I was thinking this when we were talking about the card game stuff, the mobile game stuff. If you can get a mobile game that gets you that money, like we were talking about the revenue stream thing, and I was thinking, is there a way Destiny could do it? I don't think Destiny's big enough that enough people would buy it, that would get into it. But I feel like there's enough weird lore there that you could make a cool card game. But also card games are overdone. Fuck card games.
The 2 or 3 we have is enough.
The 2 or 3? The fucking like 10 million.
Talking about Hearthstone.
Just give me an actual deck of cards, okay? I'll play some solitaire. Let's go.
I wonder if that will still go ahead. That I guess if they've already got the money, I don't know what they can do. But because if NetEase are partnered with Blizzard, and then Blizzard are obviously partnered with Activision, is that something that they'll still make?
I don't know. I feel like the investment was like NetEase gave Bungie the money, so it's like, well,
yeah.
I don't know. I can't imagine. I don't get the impression NetEase is probably that loyal. Yeah. I think it seems like they make their own games anyway. So
on Google, under their video games, it says Minecraft. So
that
seems strange.
Well, they probably distribute it in China or something. China is weird.
Some of that hot Chinese Minecraft.
Maybe they just bought it. Maybe they bought Minecraft.
Didn't Microsoft buy Minecraft?
Oh shit, they did, didn't they?
Maybe they bought Microsoft. No, that's it.
Fuck. Fuck.
So they could finally get someone to start supporting Windows XP again. Yeah. I don't know.
We'll have to see where that goes. I mean, yeah, I think it'll be nice to see how Bungie deal with being just sort of free to make what they want for a while.
I am certain that this will not suddenly fix the problems that Destiny has. What I hope is that it gives Bungie less pressure to make what they don't want to make effectively, if that makes sense. I can't imagine suddenly Destiny is going to be the greatest game ever, because I don't necessarily think that's how that relationship works. But I suspect that they may be able to take their time with some things. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. It's good that they got to keep Destiny.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would be more of a tragedy if the partnership ended and they lost Destiny, because obviously Activision wouldn't keep going with it, right? They wouldn't get someone else on to make it. Like, maybe they'd get someone else to finish off the Destiny 2 cycle, but that would definitely be the death of Destiny if Activision had kept it and Bungie left.
Yes. Which
is probably why Activision let them take it, because obviously they're not going to do anything with it, and they're probably not making that much money with it.
Just get Treyarch to make it.
Yeah.
Just in the off years when Treyarch, Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward aren't making Call of Duty games, just be like, no, you got to make Destiny games. Got to make Destiny content. They still own Raven, even though they've just turned Raven into a Call of Duty map maker, and Raven made some of the best first-person shooters of the early 2000s. Just get Raven to start making Destiny games. Not that that's actually reality, but they could have done it. I'd have played a Ravensoft version of Destiny. That'd have been great.
Would have been weird.
Yeah, would have been really weird. I don't know. Video games are weird. This is weird.
I feel like we're starting to ramble about Destiny 2. Maybe we should move on to our second big story of the podcast.
Oh, Randy Pitchford is a dirty paedophile.
There you go. You introduced that pretty well. Maybe in a slightly libelous way.
Yes, it's not true. He's not a pedo. Okay, so
I'll just clap here. You can cut this bit out. You know where it is. We can start again.
Let's leave it in. It's fun. Okay. Gearbox has managed to get themselves into a pretty serious lawsuit. And I imagine I don't know all the details of this, so there is a bit more to this than maybe I'm alleging, but basically, there's a lot of money getting thrown around at Gearbox, including Randy Pitchford apparently taking a secret $12 million bonus.
Just a cheeky side, okay. 12 million.
Yeah, and I always get a bit confused
the end of the table
about this, because in my head it's Gearbox, how can Gearbox have that much money? And then you go, well, and then Borderlands is obviously incredibly successful.
Yeah, but still
a
secret 12 million. They don't have enough money to have just a cheeky 12 million between the couch cushions.
Slipped down there.
It must be pretty hard to hide 12 million. Hard to hide, there you go. 12 million going out, surely. Maybe I just don't understand the world of rich people.
So here we go. So I'm just going to cherry pick some of the highlights of this. So basically, Randy Pitchford is being sued by the ex-lawyer for Gearbox. And so Wade Callender, who served as Gearbox's lawyer from 2010 until 2018, filed a lawsuit on December the 21st, 2018, accusing Pitchford of violating various contracts involving both Gearbox and a separate real estate company they both owned, as well as Callender's own employment contract.
Yeah.
And so then Gearbox is being this is all madness. None of it's true. We look forward to it. We look forward to addressing this meritless lawsuit in court and have no further comment at this time. So the interesting part is Calendar's suit was filed 1 month after Gearbox sued Calendar in a separate case for fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. So Gearbox is alleging that Calendar has actually been borrowing money from Gearbox and basically just took a bunch of money from Gearbox to use for stuff he shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
So they're kind of, it's like they're suing back and forth. But the interesting part is when you look at the details of Calendar's lawsuit. So Gearbox is suing Calendar saying, you took all this money, which you shouldn't have, and you should have paid it back. That's not cool. Okay. So Calendar's saying, yeah, you want to talk about taking money and doing things that aren't cool, and saying that Pitchford struck a deal in 2016 to receive a personal secretive executive bonus of $12 million to be paid directly to Pitchford entity called Pitchford Entertainment Media Magic LLC, okay. which Calendar and his lawyers allege that this money is actually an advance on royalties that should have gone to Gearbox's staff, and so he's basically embezzling from Gearbox's staff. And then this is when things get quite intense. Calendar's also alleges that in 2014, Randy Pitchford left a USB drive in a medieval times restaurant in Dallas, Texas, containing sensitive corporate documents about Gearbox, 2K Games, Sega, Sony, Microsoft, and others. Additionally, this USB drive, as well as containing sensitive corporate data about all of those huge companies, it contained Randy Pitchford's personal collection of quote-unquote underage pornography.
Yikes.
Randy Pitchford, the day after this lawsuit came out, has come out saying that they are not underage pornography. He has said Pitchford has described his enjoyment of camgirl pornography and explained that he saved a porn video of a camgirl to that memory stick. Quote, it's a woman who is masturbating, and when she has some experience that appears as if she's having an orgasm, a huge amount of fluid comes out of her vagina. This is not a sex worker. This is a fucking magician, Randy Pitchford added, saying he had purchased one of her videos and put it on the USB stick. Some kid, an employee of the Medieval Times, discovered the memory stick, took it home, accessed it because it was before we were password protecting sensitive corporate data, discovered the secrets of my company and future games in development, and also discovered the pornography, which was barely legal porn. The girl's handle was only 18. What is happening at Gearbox?
That is an intense paragraph.
Isn't that just the most insane thing you've ever heard?
It really is.
I like the fact that he has just one USB stick for all of this. It's like corporate secrets and my porn collection.
I mean, who uses
Same
USB sticks
stick.
anymore?
Obviously perverts.
Use the cloud, man.
Why would he even take it to the Medieval Times restaurant?
I don't know. Calendar has also accused Randy Pitchford of holding parties in which adult men have reportedly exposed themselves to minors to the amusement of Randy Pitchford. And that's minors with an O. This isn't men who dig. This is children.
Fuck.
What is happening at Gearbox?
I like how...
Is this what they've been doing instead of making Borderlands 3?
Looks
Just
like it.
porn.
Exposing themselves to minors. This is an intense... This lawyer's defense of ridiculous crimes, which are clearly crimes, is, yeah, but this guy's crimes are worse.
This sounds like baseless accusations, though.
Feels like a bad defense. Surely now both of them should just be arrested. Rather than them forgetting calendars. It's like, yeah, I took all your money. Like, he admitted it. He was like, yeah, I did that, but this guy's a pedophile. It's like, okay, we'll arrest him too? What do you want?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. But I guess Calendar's saying, like, no, I didn't. counter-sue? I don't know. It seems...
That's so bizarre.
This is very weird.
This is much. This is... This is too much, really. Like... It's also sad that this is what's stopping Borderlands 3.
Oh, it's so... Because, like, in the time since Borderlands 2 came out, we've had Destiny, and Destiny's been like, yo, always online, first-person RPG shooter. Like, all Borderlands 3 needs to do is basically look at Destiny and make more guns. And you've just made, like... You've made a multi-million seller right there. Yeah.
If they made, like, the Borderlands version of Destiny, they'd make fucking bank, because people love Borderlands.
It's a lot. It's a lot to handle.
Oh.
Like, it's just... Randy Pitchford is just such a fucking dirtbag.
Apparently, yeah.
Shall we cool down with a little news piece about Soldier Boy?
Oh, yeah, sure. Tell me about Soldier Boy.
Bring it in.
I actually don't think we can have a discussion about this Gearbox news other than just saying it's fucking mental.
It's kind of too much to talk about at this point.
So, Soldier Boy is back with a new handheld console.
Oh, I've seen this.
That's right. Yeah. He's making
Soldier Boy.
He's making a rip-off of the PS Vita. And it has a sub-HD... screen, and it also allows owners to use a quote-unquote multi-thread task mode, so you can listen to your favorite songs while watching ebooks.
Is that like a quote from the webpage?
Yes.
Nice, I love it, because I remember there's been a lot of weird Soldier Boy announcements, so I thought you were going to go for a different handheld console that he announced.
Oh, okay.
There was a thing a few
Soldier
weeks
Boy's
ago.
lost his fucking mind.
Yeah, he's got a website of just like rip-off things.
Oh,
and one of them was a handheld console that would play like retro games. And it had the background was a bunch of various retro games. It didn't say specifically what was going to be on it. But like there was no way that they had the license for any of these stuff because it's Soldier Boy. And he was just kind of saying, yeah, this machine will play all of these games.
That's ridiculous.
It's just crazy.
And then he's also got like a rip-off Apple Watch called like the Soldier Watch or something that literally just looks like the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Like if you go on soldierwatch.com and see his catalogue, he's got the Soldier headphones, he's got the Soldier game handheld, he's got the Soldier pad, which looks to just be like a cheap Android tablet.
Oh shit, the Soldier game hand does just look like a PS Vita.
Yeah.
This is
so what's interesting is right now, if you Google Soldier Boy, the top news stories from Google are 8 hours ago, Soldier Boy is back with the new console that looks a lot like the PS Vita. 16 hours ago, Soldier Boy explodes after he's accused of being addicted to crack.
Brilliant.
Both of those could be true, and it would actually make a lot more sense.
Oh shit, the Soldier game handheld is on sale, guys.
It's
from $200 down to $99.99.
Yep, that's it.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to get a Soldier game handheld now, aren't I?
I think this should be our February game of the month. Soldier game handheld.
What games are on it? Do we know?
I don't think any.
What is that game in the picture that it's got on there?
It looks like a Need for Speed of some kind, maybe?
Nah, it looks like Asphalt, the mobile game.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
So is this actually just like an Android brick? Is that what this is?
It's also upside down on one of the images.
Yeah.
So the top one, it's a specific way, and then the second one, it's definitely upside down on the screen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for the second two images. It just looks like... It looks exactly like a PS Vita.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's using the same, squares and circles and stuff.
So the thing I mentioned before, the retro game, it's if you go onto the main page of Soldier Watch, it's on the games thing, the Soldier game, 800 plus pre-installed classic games. Supports PS1, GBA, Sega, NES, and more. doesn't exist on the...
yeah, when you click it, nothing happens.
But it does also claim that all of these retro games are in 4K Ultra HD.
Well, if you look at the features of the Soldier Game handheld, it says 4.3-inch 16:9 HD screen, 480 by 272 resolution. That's going to look like shit. A 4.3-inch 16:9, but with that resolution. That's going to look fucking terrible. It's going to look like you're playing video games through like a thick layer of Vaseline.
Or I've just seen maybe the best part. Supports JPEG, BMP, GIF, TIFF, and PNG image format.
What
are they going for?
What is he doing?
But then, it's an MP5 game player. Is MP5... What? Isn't that a video codec?
Yeah.
Built-in high-definition microphone, high-quality recording, and ordinary recording for you to choose. You can either have high-quality audio or ordinary audio. I don't understand.
Guys, he sells a gift card from $10. Maybe that's a gift.
Oh man, the Soldier Watch is only $20. Guys, we should get a Soldier Watch.
I want to get a Soldier Watch. I want to get this bad knockoff Apple Watch. It looks... It's literally different in different pictures as well, I think.
It looks a little bit. It looks...
you know it's not good when you click it and it says, do you want the one that ships from the Russian Federation or the one that ships from China? It's like, do you want the Russians or the Chinese to spy on you? Soldier Boy's addicted to crack and he's being forced by the Chinese government to sell spyware for cheap. Oh no, Soldier Boy. This is actually... I thought this was really funny when I heard about this. Now I'm actually looking at it. It's really depressing.
It's really sad.
It has 128 megabytes of RAM.
Yep.
I feel like that's not good.
I think my calculator has that much RAM.
Yeah. It has a rear camera. It's a watch.
Waterproof grade, not waterproof.
Type on wrist. It's one of those on wrist watches. Screen shape. It's a square.
Application age group adult. What does that mean? All of the applications are for adults? Is it just porn?
It's just porn.
It's just a watch full of porn.
It's actually partnered with Randy Pitchford. It's like if you find a USB pen full of corporate secrets and underage pornography in a medieval times restaurant, and you want to then watch it right there in that restaurant, this is the watch for you.
Stopwatch, remote camera. What does that mean?
Have you seen what the style is?
No.
The style is fashion. Compatibility, all compatible.
Movement type like I know what they're going for here. It's the movement type of the watch. Is it analog? No, it's electronic. But movement type electronic is just perfect for a Soldier Boy watch, surely. It's like, how do you move? Electronically.
Okay, so at the very top of this list of features, it says ROM, less than 128 megs, RAM, less than 128 megs. At the very bottom, it says RAM, 32M, ROM, 32M.
Which is the true Soldier Boy.
Well, I mean, they could... I guess at the top again, it says battery capacity, 180 to 220 milliamp hours. Then a bit lower, it says battery, 380 milliamp hours. Oh my god.
This is sad.
This is actually really the Soldier Boy. He's lost his fucking mind.
But you can look like you've got an Apple Watch for $20, so that's good.
This is true.
I like how he sells it in various different colours, shipped from various different places that have literally been demonstrated to be spying on us. And also you can get it with a box or without a box.
Yep.
And I don't think it changes the price. The ones without a box are sold out.
To be fair, do you really need a box? It's just a watch that doesn't work.
Oh, Soldier.
I think that's a very sad and entertaining way to end the podcast.
Oh, Soldier Boy.
the glory days of our childhood have ended in scam-based spying disaster in so many ways. And I feel like that's a lovely note to finish on.
He's selling an Android tablet that comes with Android 7 installed on it. We're on Android 9.1 now.
To be fair, I think my phone is probably still like Android 7.
Yeah, it's... Yep.
Soldier Boy. Oh.
You've let me down, Soldier Boy.
It's like how... Oh, man.
Oh shit, there's a Soldier phone as well. Actually looks pretty cool.
Soldier phone. It's sold out.
Hom-Tom.
The Hom-Tom. It does say Hom-Tom on it.
I want myself a Hom-Tom. It's $292.
Soldier, what's the Hom-Tom? Why has he gone for cameras one on top of the other?
Mate, it's dual camera. Come on.
Yeah, I
Dual
guess.
lens, baby. It's the future.
It looks like he's stolen this "your fingerprint is the key to your phone" button or image there, because it's the highest quality, best produced image on his entire website.
What image are you talking about?
If you scroll through the images of the Soldier Phone HT70, there's one image that explains that it's got fingerprint. Oh yeah, there's a couple of images in here that look like he's stolen them from a different phone's website. This one looks like it looks like a badly photoshopped picture of Ben Affleck on that one.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, weird. Selfie
What is
pleasure.
happening? Soldier Boy has been blackmailed by the Chinese government to put spyware in our phones.
Oh, isn't
I
it
respect
something
that.
like all Chinese phones have spyware anyway?
Yeah, there's this whole thing with Huawei at the moment, isn't there, of all of the Western governments of the world being like, no, Huawei, you can't install our mobile network because then you'll be spying on us.
It's like someone was telling me that WhatsApp wanted to get adopted in Middle Eastern markets, but because of the fact that the UAE, it's law in the UAE for all telecommunications to go through their servers so they can read and listen to everything that you type and say on your phones, and WhatsApp's encrypted. So WhatsApp had to make an unencrypted version of their thing. So if you use WhatsApp in the UAE, it actually goes through all of their government servers.
Nice.
Huh. So it's
And
something
at least they're open about it, unlike our country where they just do it and don't tell us.
Yeah.
So,
True.
I don't know.
But
which
that's
one
the
I like
benefit
more.
of having the best hackers in the world working for you. You can just hack anything and you don't need to tell anyone.
Oh man, we should have ended with the Destiny story. This is so fucking depressing.
It's gone completely haywire. I feel like
We're
had
never
going to
get a
good
Borderlands
discussion.
3, and Soldier Boy's going to get tried for treason.
Yeah.
Treason.
We had such a good discussion about Destiny 2 and game company publishers making money off certain things to allow creativity, and then it descended so rapidly.
I'm sorry.
No, it descended before you introduced the Soldier phone, the Soldier whatever
It's the Randy
Vita.
Pitchford effect.
It was Randy Pitchford. Yeah, the Randy Pitchford effect. I feel like we can blame most of our terrible podcasts on Randy Pitchford.
I do blame Randy Pitchford for most things. I especially now that... why would you ever release a public quote? God, it actually hurts my brain thinking about the things he was saying about that pornography.
Hey
He's
man,
a
she's
bad
a
man.
fucking magician.
Randy Pitchford, you're a bad man.
Okay.
You're a bad person.
You
Why do you have a USB pen full of corporate secrets of pornography? And if you had that, why would that not be on a chain around your neck? Why would that be in any way leavable on the table in a restaurant?
Why did he have it out in medieval times? Was he just showing off his corporate secrets and pornography?
He was like, yeah, maybe he had a laptop.
Some
And he was
knights-
like, hey guys, check this out.
Merlin came over to their table to serve him a burger and he went, "You want to see a real fucking wizard?"
You want to see something really strange, Merlin?
Right.
Oh.
You can find us on iTunes and SoundCloud under Shouting Over Static, and you can find us on YouTube under Low Expectation Media. I've
True,
been
you can.
Dylan, and I've been joined by Mark and Shaw. Say goodbye, Mark and Shaw.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we're going to try and put an end to this nightmare that's been the second half of this podcast.
You say we're going to put an end to Randy Pitchford?
Hey man,
Dylan, that's not okay.
you could do what you want.
We can slander the man, but you can't. You can't tell people to kill him, Dylan.
You can't put words in my mouth, Mark. We'll be back next week with hopefully some less absurd news, but maybe also we'll just do a deep dive into Soulja Boy products, because we wouldn't even have to spend that much
maybe.
Do
money.
an unboxing. Sure.
Who knows?
Let's see how long it takes for Russia and China to find us if we buy one of each watch. Who's the better spying country?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe next week things will have devolved to the point where we're talking about like Peter Molyneux urinating on strippers. I don't know. Apparently the video game industry is full of depraved assholes, so...
Welcome to the real world, Mark.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.